If this is the type of legislation the WHO is trying to put through, we need to get as far away from it as we can, or we no longer have national sovereignty. Our courts, representatives, congressmen, laws, constitution, and even the Declaration of Independence will all be invalid, and we no longer have control over ourselves. We may as well be back under the rule of King George III all over again, and deem what our founding fathers did as null and void.
My name is Dr. Meryl Nass, and I and Dr. Kat Lindley will be talking about the new WHO documents. You've heard from my last two colleagues that the rulers of many countries and many other apparatchiks have been wantonly breaking the law over the last 3 years. They have had no concern about obeying the law, and they want to protect themselves. We're undergoing a soft coup, and the idea is to create a whole new set of laws and ignore the existing human rights laws and other laws under the pretext of pandemic preparedness and the biosecurity agenda. 70 countries at least are involved with this, 50 supported by the US. And the justification requires you to believe that pandemics are common. And who is going along with this? Basically, all the major multinational organizations, as well as all our health authorities. The WHO is developing through all its nations, but with the WHO Directorate in the United States in charge, a pandemic treaty and amendments to the existing international health regulations that will remove the human rights protections currently embedded in the IHRs, will enforce surveillance, censorship, get rid of freedom of speech, require governments to censor and only push a single narrative. Also, we will be subject, if they can make this work, to vaccines developed in 100 days. Other things that amendments do is to bind the states so they're no longer recommendations but enforceable edicts. Provide a liability shield, get rid of intellectual property rights, move supplies from one country to another, enforce digital passports, and the Director General of WHO can demand that a pandemic or a potential pandemic exists. He can just declare it with no standards, and then countries around the world will have to obey. Also, the WHO will tell you what drugs you can and can't use in your nation once a pandemic is declared. Obviously, the budget will increase. One Health is another part of this. One Health is a concept that was created to enable the WHO, with these documents, to take over jurisdiction of everything in the world, by saying that climate change, animals, plants, water systems, ecosystems are all central to health. Also embedded in this concept is a peculiar notion that humans are no longer of greater value than animals.